an existing customer.
They were talking about the Johnson and Johnson vaccine, and they showed a picture of a box. It may have been in another country, and it said JANSSEN, which is the name on here. Danny Jansen. Performed by Bobby Sherman, written by Danny Jansen. It just said JANSSEN. They were talking about Johnson and Johnson. So maybe that's what they used as their name in another country. Yo. For 8 dead, I would say no. Or 19 dead. I don't think Bobby Sherman's a bad guy. He's cute. I don't get it. I think Johnson and Johnson. Well, for Christ's sakes, don't I own a whole bunch of shit? I don't know. Oh. It's possible. That's also possible. Have it. Hey. Huh? You do it. Like me look at stuff. Yeah, it's a little scary. Like, feel pain or something. Are you rich, honey? I'll tell you when I know. Good Wendy. Whatever you want it to mean. But it's a sin to suck, ain't it? Well, Francis, is it okay if I kill a baby but I can't suck my husband's dick? Blah, blah, blah. I ain't. Hack them off, God. Hack them off. We don't want smelly pussy things on the tree. Why? I don't know. I'm rich. Damn. Was math, wasn't it? Wolf of Wall Street? Ain't it?
We were saturating the area with available resources to assist in the rescue mission.
19 people were on board the Seaport Power when it capsized during unusually powerful storms. The 129-foot vessel has 250-foot legs that can raise it out of the water to work on offshore platforms. Winds gusting to 75 miles per hour in the area. A Good Samaritan sending a distress message just before 4:30 p.m. The Coast Guard and Good Samaritans saving 6 people from the rough seas, finding one other person who did not survive. Families of the missing anxiously awaiting word tonight.
Trying to hold our heads up and still trying to be positive and just stand on faith, you know.
And David, the Coast Guard telling me just moments ago that their efforts to find those missing will continue throughout the night here. David.
All right, Elwin Lopez reporting in tonight. Elwin, thank you.
That's right. Don't have much of a picture of it. Anyway,
Hi, I'm a new customer and I want your best new smartphone. Well, I'm
Johnson & Johnson has a vaccine that is causing blood clots. And 19 people have died around the world, or one country or something. And they were talking about Johnson & Johnson and showing a box, and they showed a box on TV that said Janssen. Janssen. I don't know, it didn't have a name on it, so Janssen must be the way they present Johnson in another country. Janssen. Well, there's a Danny Jansen who wrote the song La La La. Danny Jansen, Janssen. There's a David Jansen with one S who was in The Fugitive.
What is the real risk? Thus far, based on those 6 reported cases, the overall risk is less than 1 in 1 million. People who are nervous should go back to that number. This is very rare. There may be a similar mechanism at play to the clotting concerns that we talked about that were seen in Europe with the AstraZeneca vaccine. Detectives are putting together the clinical and medical physiology behind that.
Moderna is the one they're saying the best things about.
With the Johnson & Johnson and AstraZeneca vaccines than with the Pfizer and Moderna vaccines, which are using newer mRNA technology. However, and this is a really important point, you guys, it should be reassuring to people that our safety standards and protocols are in place, they are working. That is why this pause is occurring out of an abundance of caution, and I find that actually a really good sign.
And of the millions of J&J vaccines that have been administered, we're talking about 6 cases right now. What do we know about those 6 cases?
So right now, these clots, all 6 of them, occurred in a part of the brain known as the cavernous sinus. They were also associated with a low platelet count, which can conversely increase the risk of bleeding. We do not know whether these women were on hormones or whether there's a hormonal factor at play, whether there's an immune reaction at play because of the viral vector. So right now, this investigation, and we're going to be hearing more about it today when the CDC and ACIP meet, is ongoing, and it's being done out of an abundance of caution.
Thank you so much. We're going to turn now to our Dr. Chen with the answers you see. The first question, Dr. Chen, if I received the Johnson & Johnson vaccine, is there anything I should be monitoring? Really good question.
Yeah, and a very common question on the minds of at least about 7 million people so far. As we heard from Dr. Anthony Fauci, if you're after the 3-week window, you're fine. If you're within the 2-week window, which is when all of these kind of clotting events have happened, the 6 of them, severe abdominal pain, severe headache that's getting worse and not better, even leg pain, chest pain, shortness of breath, these things should trigger a call to your doctor if you have one, a healthcare provider, or if it's severe,
Please give all Satan's
do what
chest
you would
pain
do before
and
the
no
pandemic
nitro.
and go to the emergency room.
Affirm.
Make sure you tell the
Affirm.
people treating you there that you've
The
gotten
power of
the
infinite number of
vaccine. And again,
infinities.
we have to remember the numbers, less than 1 in a million chance, incredibly rare.
That's
Very
apparently one of Donna
Next
Jean Blackmore
question,
Lansford's worst fears.
What are the best whole grains to consume?
Putting my nutritionist
Affirm.
hat on here. You know that I just recently made that switch because of this one over here to eat more grains. I used to really avoid them. There are so many choices now, you guys. Buckwheat, rye, bulgur, quinoa, whole wheat, steel cut oats. I mean, you name it. You do have to look at the ingredients. You want to to make sure it's not packed with sugar, and that grain should be one of the first 3 ingredients on the label. So absolutely great source of fiber. Most Americans do not get the daily recommendations of fiber, so this is a good way to do it. And I can thank TJ for inspiring me to eat more grains.
You know, you're the only person I've been inspired to have 5 years, so
I
I'll
doubt
take it.
that.
Submit your questions to Dr. Ashton on Instagram at Dr. J.
A little bit of a Margaret Engler sound to that blonde woman's accent, laugh. ABC.
And Stephanie Ramos joins us now from Brooklyn Center, Minnesota, with more on this. Stephanie, we heard there in your piece that Potter resigned, but the mayor has to accept that resignation, and he hasn't accepted it yet. He hasn't ruled out firing her, apparently. When can we expect to hear more on that?
It's a Dante Wright
That's
shooting.
correct, Diane. So it's unclear when we will hear more, but as you heard in the piece, we asked
I don't know if
the
that's the
mayor,
shooter or the shootee.
did he accept the resignation letter? He said no, and he was very direct with that. But he also said that he needed to evaluate the evidence and also the process. It seems as though this is still a very fluid situation. They're looking at all of the different options that they can take. But he also understands that this is a community that is hurting. It's going to take a lot of changes within the police department, within the city, to comfort this community. So when we spoke with the mayor, he said he couldn't really elaborate on the officer's current status, but at this point, he has not accepted that resignation letter and is still trying to figure out how to move forward. And as I said earlier, firing her is not out of the question.
All right, Stephanie Ramos in Brooklyn Center, Minnesota. Thanks, Stephanie.
Ow. Please make Donna Jean Buckman Asperg mind her own business.
Hi, I'm a new customer and I want your best use smartphone. Well, I'm an existing customer and I want your best use.
Actually, it's for both new and
As
existing
family.
customers.
I feel silly, but I do want nationwide 5G.
Please make Donna Jean Buckman Asperg mind her own
Are we
business.
actually doing this again?
It's not complicated. Only AT&T gives new and existing customers the same great deals, like the Samsung Galaxy S21 5G for free when you trade in.
Please make Donna Jean Buckman Asperg mind her own business, God.
We're going to turn now to ABC's Faith Abube in Washington, D.C. Here's our latest coverage. Good afternoon, Faith.
Hi there, Amy. Good to see you. We want to begin with breaking news right now about a well-known figure behind bars, Bernie Madoff. Sources confirming to ABC News the notorious felon behind a massive Ponzi scheme that cost investors billions of dollars died in prison, in federal prison this morning of natural causes. The 82-year-old Madoff was incarcerated in North Carolina. And President Biden is expected to announce a full withdrawal of American troops from Afghanistan by September 11th. Right now,
Bernie Madoff died in prison.
2,500 troops
I think he was the
still
Wolf
there.
of
Over
Wall
the past
Street.
20 years, more than
I think that's who he
2,300
was.
U.S. troops have been killed. At least 40,000 civilians have died, and the war has cost the U.S. $825 billion in military
Oh, sure,
operations.
that's
The administration says humanitarian efforts will continue. Senate Minority Leader Mitch McConnell called the move a grave mistake. In Minnesota, for a third night in a row, several hundred demonstrators demanded
arbitrage?
justice in the death of Dante Wright. The mayor of Brooklyn Center now ruling out firing the officer who pulled the trigger, killing the 20-year-old. Officer Kim Potter and the police chief have both resigned. Police say
Something about
she
pulled the
appears to have
trigger.
confused her gun with her taser.
Something
The
about pulled
dramatic
the
rescue
trigger.
and the search for survivors in the Gulf of Mexico and the waters off Louisiana. Rough conditions there capsizing a massive boat. At least 6 people have been saved. Some are still missing. A new round of bad weather expected to hamper Coast Guard search efforts.
Bernie
And
Madoff.
finally, the regulars at this Arizona
Well, I think
restaurant
it's
showing gratitude in a very
real life
big
Wolf of
way.
Wall Street.
Workers there stunned
Died
to find $800
in prison.
in tips on their
And then something
receipt.
about
The
pulled
anonymous couple confirming to
the trigger.
Brookside, they really did mean to leave that giant tip as a sign of appreciation for everybody, from the
Just wanna
servers
see
to
it.
the cooks to the cleanup crew
I'm
there
sorry,
at
that's
the
a very
restaurant.
famous
TJ,
name.
all I can say is they have great
But I don't
reviews
know
on
if he was
Google,
the
so Those fries must be extra tasty.
Man, $800 fries. I mean, I want a taste of $800 fries. But no, we know that
I'm
we
sure
really
they deserve it.
Yeah, but so many. Thank you. But you all know these, especially here in New York, these restaurants have been struggling, and we still see them trying to get back. So anytime we can help out workers at those restaurants is great. It is great.
Comedian Jon Stewart is on a new mission, fighting for the families of U.S. service members. He's accusing the Department of Veterans Affairs of being an obstacle to providing medical care.
This morning, funny man Jon Stewart is fighting for war veterans exposed to burn pits, a term used for piles of burning trash on military bases.
You spend your time when you come back home basically as a defendant in a trial for your own health care.
Burn pits were often ignited with jet fuel in Iraq and Afghanistan to dispose of everything from chemicals to styrofoam to human waste. Veterans advocates say the smoke released chemicals linked to various types of cancers. On Tuesday, Stewart joined lawmakers to announce legislation that would make it easier for veterans with diseases linked to burn pits to access benefits from Veterans Affairs.
They don't need another study to determine whether or not it might not be that healthy to burn everything in sight 24 hours a day, 7 days a week,
I didn't get
next
a
to where
chance.
you're sleeping.
I didn't have an
You
opinion.
know it because you're not allowed to do it in the United States of America.
Could
President
be.
Biden has said he believes his son died from brain cancer due to
Just very
exposure from burn pits. Gina Cancelino lost her husband, Marine Gunnery Sergeant Joseph Cancelino, after he was exposed.
He lost his war at home, in my family room, on July 17th, 2019, at 12:49 a.m., where I watched him take his last breath.
This morning, Stewart accuses the VA of being an obstacle for service members.
For them to come home and have to fight against the very government that they volunteered to defend is immoral. It's unconscionable and it's easily remedied.
The VA says 3.5 million service members have been exposed to burn pits, which the military no longer uses.
Bernie Madoff is not the Wolf of Wall Street. That's Jordan Belfort. Belfort. And the movie The Wolf of Wall Street.
Where a commercial ship capsized in a storm, sending 18 people into the water. At least 6 have been
There's a
saved by the Coast
Tillinger.
Guard.
She's a producer of the movie.
Victor Taylor has
Emma
said that
Tillinger.
survivors who were in Victor.
Tillinger.
George, that lift boat was in some severe weather when it capsized. Another ship nearby reported a wind gust up to 100 miles per hour. The rough
Wolf of Wall Street producer Emma Tillinger.
This morning,
Koskov
desperate search for survivors
on
found
Sexy,
boats
Scary,
from
and Infuriating
capsizing in the Gulf of Mexico
Kick.
off the Louisiana coast.
Deadline
The
Hollywood.
call for help came in around 4:30 p.m. Just as
Oh, she got an
severe weather was
Oscar, I
hitting the
guess.
area, capsizing this massive
There's a
lift boat with
McFarland.
18 people on board.
There's a
Seaboard
McFarland
Health,
also
129
producer.
foot lift boat's massive pylon sticking out of the water as the Coast Guard races in, quickly rescuing 2. Guards seen here pulling this man out of the
Walt
water.
Tillinger would be
Good
Tillerson.
Samaritans closest to the scene, jumping into action too, helping save another 4 people. Lift boats like this one normally help transport supplies to offshore construction and oil rigs. In total, 6 have been rescued, but more are missing. The Coast Guard scouring the area by air and sea into the night. The Coast Guard crediting those Good Samaritans and the emergency beacon that notified them where to search. Unfortunately,
So Bernie
there's
Madoff
more severe weather expected in the area today.
Was a Ponzi scheme guy. And something Belfort. John Belfort? Could be evolution. Jordan Belfort. That could be the Jordan guy that made a YouTube video about MMS, Miracle Mineral Solution. That could be him. His first name is Jordan. Not sure of his last name. I was really impressed. He was young. He made it like a like a fuck you video to, you know, modern medicine or something. Here's MMS.
What's the earliest the pause could be lifted?
I followed him on Facebook, I guess. I don't know where I followed him. But then he criticized Hillary Clinton. He was typical,
how they interpret these findings.
I don't know. I didn't think it was fair. I didn't think criticizing Hillary Clinton was fair because she has helped children. She's helped them get medical care. Children in this country get free medical care, as far as I understand, age of 7 and under.
There's no evidence yet. You haven't established that there's a link between the vaccine and the drug-clotting effects, have you? So, respond then to
anyway,
the saying, the risk of not going unvaccinated,
this Jordan guy.
getting sick and dying.
So I unfollowed him, and
Than the risk of getting vaccinated. Why not
I may have deleted my post about him.
One of the reasons for the pause was to make sure
That could
clinicians
be
knew
Jordan
how to diagnose
Belfort.
and treat this, but also to report it, because we don't know if we've missed
Anyway,
some cases, whether the risk
I
rate is
appreciated
more than
his
or perhaps more than that. Fortunately, we have a lot of Pfizer and
anger
Moderna
or
vaccines
whatever it was in the
available
video
right
about
now, and
MMS.
we know it's frustrating and inconvenient, but appointments are being
Anyway,
rescheduled right now, so I know this is
I
really
unfollowed
difficult
him.
for people, and it may be frightening, but we want to get to the bottom of it. And,
I understand the
and make sure
best
that we can protect
offense.
people. Pandemic is
I understand
serious.
the best defense is good offense. It's a tactic Satanists use a lot. So Trump was saying, you know, that
If you got the vaccine more than 3 weeks ago and you're feeling fine,
Democrats
you
or whatever,
have an extremely low risk and don't need to be concerned. But if you got it more recently, keep an
let's
eye
see,
out
the
for
Democrats,
a severe headache that doesn't go away, bad stomach pain that doesn't
ran
go away,
child sex
difficulty
rings and
breathing, which is always a
child
sign to
trafficking
let your doctor
rings,
know or seek medical
stuff like
attention.
that. He
And
accused
possibly,
Hillary of
swelling
having a
pain,
facility
those are
under
the
a
kinds of
pizza
things that you
restaurant.
should be on the lookout for, and let your doctor know that you got the
I don't
J&J
remember what
vaccine,
city.
a couple weeks ago.
Where she had children captive and she was torturing them and mind controlling
So
them.
what is this going to mean for the pace of
You know.
vaccinations right now in the United States?
But anyway, I don't like the standard bash Hillary stuff because people don't know about. It was when she was first a lawyer out of law school, something having to do with the government. That's my understanding.
Stay on track to meet the president's goal of 200 million doses by his 100th day.
Bottom line, do you expect the Johnson & Johnson
I
vaccine
don't know
will eventually
exactly.
be administered again?
I can't predict that, but I am very optimistic.
Satanists are pushing me to criticize Hillary Clinton. But I don't want to. I don't want to do it when I'm pushed to. Carla Pig is panicking. They might restore my faith in Hillary Clinton. Well, that'll get me to heaven.
Hi, I'm a new customer and I want your best new
Honest to God.
Well, I'm an existing customer and I'd like your best new
Okay.
smartphone deal.
We're in a Bernie Madoff is dead. Something about pull the trigger.
I've been silly. But I do want nationwide 5G. I want nationwide 5G.
Are we actually doing this again?
Donna G. Buckner-Lansford suggested the photo of Bernie Madoff was actually Elie Wiesel. Night was a very moving book.
This half hour
And
begin.
when I lived at St. Peter's Place, I came across there was Day that Elie Wiesel also wrote and something else. So it was a trilogy. I didn't read it. I didn't have an opinion about it.
Sat down for a deeply personal conversation about something that's been weighing on him
So we're talking
for a very
about,
long time.
oops,
Like so many, this past
talking about
year
Bernie Madoff, Hillary Clinton,
of deep reflection.
Danny Jansen, or Johnson and Johnson is Jansen, maybe Jansen and Jansen
Sit down with
in
you,
another country.
something that you want people to know.
Um,
So can you tell us what is on your heart that you want to share?
Yeah.
Elie Wiesel comes at the tail end, but they want me to
A lot for a lot of people. And
speak ill of Hillary. I had a few personal criticisms of
a lot of people
Hillary Clinton when I read
figure out who they are and what they've been running from or what
Making
they've been putting
History.
off in their lives.
I think that was the title of
And
the
for
book.
me,
I had a few personal
I've run from myself
criticisms
for a
and
long time. I paid
couple of admirations, and
I'm
I know that the best defense is a good offense, so the Trump administration and the lunatics and all that
processing it.
were saying that Hillary Clinton
The next step in all of this was sort of
runs
letting people
child
know.
trafficking
Still
and stuff,
nervous, but
which I thought was your basic
yeah, it's been a journey for sure.
best defense is a good offense.
Yeah.
See the relief.
I mean, I'm emotional,
let's
but
see here.
emotional in like such a good, happy, positive way.
Okay, public, I guess.
I'm like the happiest and healthiest I've ever been in my life, and that means the world to me. And yeah,
What was that moment like for you that gave you
Sleep.
the courage to speak the truth as you are today?
Everything.
I got into a place for me in my personal life that was dark and bad, and I can list a bunch of different things, but they'd all be excuses. But I think overall the reason why now is because I got to a place where I didn't think I was ever going to share this. I would have rather died than
Jordan.
say I'm gay. And I think that was sort of my wake-up call.
Did you ever think about harming yourself?
Yeah. There was a moment in LA that I woke up and I didn't think I was going to wake up.
I'll just do it. Okay.
I didn't have the intentions of waking up.
I'm gonna stop recording and start recording again.
And I think for me,